Do you believe in God? Let's talk just a little bit. A few days ago, in September 15th, in London, ISIS tried to explode a train cowardly. In that train there were students, mothers, workers, children, a lot of people just trying to live their lives. Thanks God, nobody died. Somebody had some hurt, but it's not the point. The point is that those guys from ISIS are stupid.
So why radical thoughts about religion are not wise? I have some points for you. First of all, God created the whole universe, probably the whole multiverse, okay, with several universes like ours. With such power, why would he created an enemy for himself? People talk about Satan, about the devil, okay? But I think that is not any devil at all. The devils are ourselves, because we are made of flesh and blood. We came from an evolution in this planet, and we have some instincts. Instincts like the animals, the most ferocious and the wildest animals of the planet. But what's the difference between us and these animals? We have some consciousness. We have some rules, moral rules that we created. One of the arguments about Satan is about the sex temptation. Come on. Everybody has interest in sex. So God created this to make people closer, to make us procreate. So it's not reasonable to think that sex has something to do with devil. But we have a kind of graduation about sex, okay? We have to be respectful, we have to have love for the people with sex, through sex. But another point is about robbing people, lying to people, okay? What's under this instinct? It's the survival instinct. People want money to buy food in order to survive. In terms of universe, in terms of our land, money means energy for our survival. So we should desire for money. We must desire to have money, okay? It's not a sin. It's not the problem. But we should not desire or wish to get from other people money. But to wish money is not the same. It's a kind of graduation of our instinct in coordination with our moral soul, our moral spirit of balancing things. So when we talk about Satan that does not exist, we are just speaking about ourselves trying to transcend our instincts. That's an important point for us. Another point is important about radical religious leaders. Okay, many of them think that women shouldn't have any vanity. Oh, come on. If women have no vanity, how can they enchant us? Because this is the task they have, to enchant us, to make us calmer, to make us in love for them, to respect them. In other words, the vanity of women make us calmer and more balanced. They make us less violent because we have to respect them, because they enchant us through their vanity. Simple like that. We should respect women for all the duties they have in this land, in this earth, because they have the power of yes and no, they have the power of birth, they have the power of unconditional love, of feeding. Come on. Women are really more important than us, and we should and must respect them. Another interesting point, I don't think that God needs to be flattered. He is so powerful. I only exist because He permits that I was born, that I exist. So probably He doesn't want me to flatter Him, but His prophet, important prophet, a very important guy with a very nice spirit, came to earth 2,000 years ago and said that we couldn't see the face of God if we didn't hear His words. And what was probably the most important thing He did? He said to us, He told us to love unconditionally our neighbors. Love for neighbors, no matter if you don't like them, no matter if you were offended. God, through His prophet, said that is a very great and big value in the multiverse, in the universe, is the unconditional love, the forgiveness. But some people don't like to talk about God because they read a lot of holy books. I will not comment about holy books. I will try to tell you my main thought. I should like to explain to you what I call equivalent God. In the Bible we have the first part saying that was a God that has enemies and friends. Differently, in the second part, Jesus says that God loves everybody. It's a contradiction. So there is many beautiful things written in the Holy Bible and other sacred books. But in my thoughts, we have a kind of equivalent God, a kind of scientific God. Because it's not possible at all, our existence. It's not possible at all that now I could be speaking to you. And I will mention to you some of the biggest questions in science, and that scientists become very embarrassed when they are asked for answers for these points. And if you have some imagination and you open your heart and you open your mind, probably you can notice that the equivalent God is inside these spaces, large spaces of information that we don't have, and probably we will never have, in the words of some important scientists. What are these important points of science. These blank spaces in science. One of them is that we live in a non-local universe. It's extremely curious, that non-local universe. I have no condition in a few minutes to explain what it means. But take a look in your Google and you understand what means non-local universe. Science have no answer for that at all. Another important blank space in science is the wave particle duality. Take a look on Google and study a little bit, and you'll see that scientists become very embarrassed about this matter because it takes us to understand that what concrete we know every day, what material for us is affected by our thought. And so comes another important doubt in science. They have no idea where consciousness comes from. You can interact billions and billions of neurons, trillions and trillions of interactions, but the feeling of myself, of yourself, they cannot explain. And there is another important point that I think it's important, is that we have to have evolved in around circa 600 million years to organize trillions and trillions of cells. I have 80 trillion cells. Through evolution of many trillions of atoms, you know. Okay, you have the natural selection. Okay, natural selection explains a lot, but not everything, because it doesn't explain how the path happened, how can I say, the jump from a stage to another stage happened, because it depends of trillions of atoms being reorganized in such a new order. So we have talked about radical religions. I'm proposing to you to think in God in a middle term, not only religious, not only science. Maybe I'm proposing you to consolidate together these thoughts: science, religion, and an equivalent to God, with such wise, with such love for us, like said in the Bible by Christ. Okay, in that train in London, there were a lot of important people for their families. In that train, there were Brazilian women as well, so beloved, and thanks to God, nothing bad happened to them, none of them. And my appeal for a lot of you is not to think about a God with enemies, because there is no violent God. It's not logical. It's not wise. Have a good day. My respect.